This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Tuesday today, which means we're doing a top 5 list, and I haven't decided what this video is going to be called yet, but no doubt from whatever title I end up using and the thumbnail, you've got the general gist of what I'm going to be talking about today. And it stems from the fact that the other day, a week or so back, a chap turned up here for his guitar lesson, and he's just made that transition from cheap acoustic guitar that's been sort of stood in the corner. It's been like a family heirloom. It's been there for years, and he's gone and got himself an electric guitar. The excitement. As my tattooist said to me when I had this done, where are we? That. You know, once he finished, he said, "One less of them, one more of us." Anyway, this guitar was an Aria Pro 2 that he'd bought used on Facebook Marketplace. Wasn't in a particularly good state of affairs, and it needed a new set of strings, so I put those on for him, and then give it a little bit of a setup. So what we're talking about here today are the 5 tools that I used to give that guitar a little bit of love and get it playing nice again. So, you know, this covers most bases, I guess. If you've got these 5 things, then you can do a little bit of, you know, you can give a guitar a little bit of improvement without, you know, needing to give it open heart surgery. So what are these tools? Well, let's have a look.
A good tuner.
A good tuner. I use this one all the time now. Just bought it out of curiosity. It was about 60 quid years ago. A Peterson strobo clip tuner. A good accurate tuner. It doesn't have to be a strobe tuner, although that is probably the gold standard for accuracy, just for setting intonation. So I showed him how to, you know, kind of set up the intonation. I said, you don't need to do it all the time, but when you do it, make sure you've got a fresh set of strings on. And I probably check my intonation not necessarily every time I change strings, but it's just one of those things. I do it every so often. And a good accurate tuner, don't try relying upon, you know, the tuner that's in your multi-effects pedal that has like a red LED for when it's sharp and a red LED for when it's flat and a green LED for when it's in tune. That's not going to be accurate enough for setting intonation. A good accurate tuner, it's the last tuner you're ever going to need to buy, so just get a decent one. As I say, I can highly recommend this Peterson strobo clip. Doesn't have to be a clip-on tuner. You could have like the equivalent sort of thing on a pedal board, but a good accurate tuner is essential, I would say. Next,
metric and imperial Allen keys.
Yes, decent set of Allen keys, metric and imperial. We used to have this shop, this chain store in the UK called Wilkinson's, which later just became Wilco, which is what everybody used to call it anyway. Went to the wall a little while ago, but I've had this set of Allen keys that I bought in there years ago. Don't cheap out on these. Don't get the ones that you can buy on, you know, what is it, Temu. I've never bought anything off Temu. The missus has, but I never have. You know, because they're just made of soft, putty-like metal that will just round off and become useless. Get a decent set of metric and imperial Allen keys. Many US built guitars use imperial measurements, and most of the rest of the world, I'm talking about, you know, the Asian built guitars, the Indonesia, Korea, China, etc., tend to use you know, the metric ones. And I think this little set here of decent Allen keys cost me less than 10 quid, and you buy it once and it's all you're going to need. My other computer there has started making a noise, so I'm just going to have to take a break and see what's going on. So let's just say next.
A screwdriver for every occasion.
Yes, a screwdriver for every occasion. This pretty much covers everything that I need to do. One of these, crosshead screwdriver, and one of these, a flathead screwdriver, and then these here, which is just like, I hope these don't all fall out when I open it, but as you can see, it's kind of like a little handle with various inserts that can go into it. So you've got pretty much every screwdriver you're going to need, you know, for things like adjusting intonation screws and the screws to take a pick guard off, or, you know, just take a look at any electric guitar and count the number of screws that you can see. You know, you need, and they're all going to be different sizes on different guitars and stuff, and most of my needs are satisfied by those 3 screwdrivers. You know, don't be that guy who's trying to unscrew you know, a switch or something using a knife that you've borrowed from the cutlery drawer. You know, it's that's, you know, just get some screwdrivers. You know, again, buy a decent set. Don't buy the ones which are made of cheap putty, like nasty soft metal melted down Pepsi cans and razor blades, you know, or whatever else they put in the famous Chinese pot metal recipe. You know, get some good ones. And what I also have is I took apart some pickups years ago to replace the ceramic magnets with Alnico magnets, and it worked a treat. Did that in a video years ago. Anyway, I've still got the ceramic magnets that came out the pickups, and I just use them, just brush the screwdriver across them every now and again to magnetize it, so you don't drop that important screw. You know, that's just have a magnet as well. That should go on the list. But that's sort of supplementary to the screwdrivers. So yes, we've got a good tuner, some Allen keys, a good set of screwdrivers. Let's see what's next.
A set of radius gauges.
Yeah, these come as a set, really, a set of radius gauges. These are mine, that I keep on a little tie wrap like that to keep them in order. What you use these for is, as you can see, they've all got like a slight curve on them, and you find the one which matches the curvature or the radius of your fretboard, and then you set your strings, your individual string saddles, to that curve as well, and then your action is going to feel nice and slinky. The way I tend to do it, and there are lots of different ways and everybody will have their own, but this works for me, is I have one of these as well, an action height ruler. So I like to set the just on these little markings down here, I like to set the 6th string to about 1.5 millimeters. Then that's a fixed datum point, and then I can use the radius gauge to find the radius gauge that matches the fretboard, and then set all of the other strings to kind of match that curve there from the 1.5 millimeter action on the 6th string. Your guitar will feel properly professionally set up when you do that. It just makes it, of all of these things I'm doing here, intonation affects you know, how in tune it sounds, but it doesn't really affect how the guitar feels. This is the one thing that really does affect how the guitar, you know, the kind of tactile feedback you get from it. So that's well worth doing. Again, get a decent set, because, you know, buy them once and they'll last you the rest of your life. Let's see what the final thing on the list is.
A tin of contact cleaner.
Yep, a tin of contact cleaner. Some people say, and this isn't just WD-40 lubricating or penetrating oil. Look, it's contact cleaner. I don't, you know, yeah, just a tin of contact cleaner. Some people, you know, insist that you need to use deoxit and everything. Never used it. What I can tell you is that this stuff, or some similar brands, other brands are available, you know, is all I've ever needed. The guitar that sparked off the idea for this video, that second-hand one that my student turned up with, had really crackly pots, and, you know, like as you turn the volume up and down. And the trick I've always found is to give it a good old blast. with this, work the pot or switch or whatever it is a little bit, then give it another blast, because that initial blast disturbs the muck. Then you disturb it a little bit more with the rotation of the pot or switch, and then another blast kind of sees off the muck or gunk or monk, as Paul from my house always calls it. That sees it off and gets rid of it, you know, so your pot is nice and kind of crackle free again, hopefully. As I said, just this little setup routine, you know, put new set of strings on, did the intonation with an accurate tuner, adjusted the truss rod with the Allen keys to get the nice, you know, kind of even. The way I always adjust the truss rod, you know, you can do it with feeler gauges and stuff, but I just press down at the first fret, the last fret, first fret with that finger, last fret with this little finger, and then reach over to somewhere around about the 12th fret, and I look for the clearance of roughly a business card. You can be more scientific than that, but that always gets me somewhere in the ballpark. And if it's a case of just getting the guitar into a playable condition, that's what you do. And as I say, metric and imperial Allen keys, truss rod, bridge saddle adjustment, everything, you know, that's they're what you need. Decent set of screwdrivers, a screwdriver for every occasion, a decent crosshead, a decent flathead, and a set of assorted others. That'll get you there. Radius gauges, and I'm also going to include in radius gauges, say, get an action height ruler as well, you know, readily available in all online you know, kind of marketplaces, either owned by Mr. Bezos or not, and some contact cleaner just to sort out those noisy, crackly pots. Get yourself that little toolkit there, and you know, you've got everything you need basically. As I say, unless you're going to be doing some sort of open heart surgery on a guitar, like a fret level and crown, or, you know, even worse, a refret, anything like that. Those are the jobs. Well, the refret certainly I'll chicken out of. I'm brave enough to do a fret level and crown, but we're not talking about this. We're just talking about rolling maintenance here. And yes, my student left with a much more playable and pleasurable guitar than he turned up with, just for the sake of about 40 minutes worth of tinkering and a few tools. So, you know, if you're a little bit nervous about having a go at doing your own guitar maintenance, then the mantra that I used to live by was, well, I'm not going to take a file to anything, because if you file too much off, you can't put it back on. But if I turn a screw or an Allen key and it messes things up, well, I can always turn it back again, you know, so there's nothing to be lost there. And, you know, never has there been a better time to teach yourself a little bit of maintenance like this. You know, go and buy a cheap junker guitar from Cash Converters or wherever and just have a go. Teach yourself some valuable skills and save yourself a bit of money by not having to run to a guitar shop every time you need the action adjusting. Anyway, I'm waffling, so I'm going to wrap it up there for today. Those are the 5 essential tools for a bit of rolling guitar maintenance. Make sure you've got them. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.